Hello, freak bitches. Are you in an unmanageable position now, though, as far as, like, responding to people?
Oh, I can't, I try to respond to people, but I can't.
Yeah, it's not possible.
No, it's not possible.
I would imagine, like, over the last few months, it must be just overwhelming.
Yeah, well, I've given up trying to keep up on my email. It's just not, my wife helps me with that, and I've had some other people help me. But, you know, what I do is I look, and I try to say thank you to people and write them a couple of lines when I have a moment. But, you know, because I can't get to all of it,
they just come in by the thousands.
Yeah. So,
I know that position.
Yeah, right. And it's too bad because people are writing me very heartfelt, long letters. They're often brilliant, frequently, like amazing letters, telling me, you know, their experiences with the authoritarian left or the way they've been, you know, cornered in one way or another, or how starting to clean up the room changed their life. That's quite fun because it's something I always tell people to do instead of going out and protesting. Jesus, I just can't stand that.
Cleaning up the room?
Yeah.
Meaning?
Well, my sense is that if you want to change the world, you start from yourself and work outward because you build your competence that way. It's like, I don't know how you can go out and protest the structure of the entire economic system if you can't keep your room organized.
Yeah, isn't that an issue with people, though, that they always want to enact some sort of control over the outside world when their inside is all fucked up?
Yeah, well, it's also
the people that are the most adamant about it.
Well, I think there's some truth in that. I think there is truth in that. I mean, people try to change the outside world for lots of ways, but many of those ways aren't just pure good. But, you know, I've thought about, well, I made a video call which was called Message to Millennials, where it was called How to Change the World Properly. A bit of on the pretentious side, I suppose, but I was trying to produce something that was a counterposition to this idea that what you should do is go out and fix up other people. You know, that's just not right. And there's a New Testament line about that, something about, you know, not worrying too much about the log in your neighbor's eye or about the speck in your neighbor's eye when you have a log in your eye. It's like, yes, no kidding, but, you know, do you really want to face that? And so what I've thought about is that, well, what you start to do is you start to tell and act out the truth locally, like within the domain of your actual competence, you know, because the world presents itself as a series of puzzles, some of which you're capable of solving and some of which you're not. And you have many puzzles in front of you that you could solve, but you choose not to. You know, those are the things that weigh on your conscience. It's like, you know, well, I should really do this, but you don't. It's like, so I had this idea a long time ago because the world is a pretty dreadful place. I thought, well, what would the world be like if people stopped avoiding the things they knew they should do? You know, because the question is, how much are we contributing to the fact that life is an existential catastrophe and a tragedy? How much is our own corruption contributing to that? That's a really worthwhile question. Things you leave undone because you're angry, you're resentful, you're lazy, you have inertia. Well, you consult your conscience and it says, well, you know, that place over there could use a little work. It's the same as working on yourself, and so you clean that up because you can, and then things are a little clearer around you, and you're a little better off because you've practiced a bit, and so you're a little stronger, and then something else manifests itself and says, well, maybe you could like take a crack at fixing me up too. So you decide to do that, and then that gets a little bit more pristine, you know, and soon, and it's humble because you're not exceeding your domain of competence. You know, it's like, don't be fixing up the economy, 18-year-olds. You don't know anything about the economy. It's a massive, complex machine beyond anyone's understanding, and you mess with it at your peril. So, and can you even clean up your own room? No. Well, you should think about that. You should think about that. Because if you can't even clean up your own room, who the hell are you to give advice to the world?
That's a very, very important thing for people to hear.